brass tacks and start rolling the dice. We need some practical facts, no more theory crafting or lofty abstracts. I need a concrete solution, a foregone conclusion, back to basics. We're back to basics. We're back to basics. We're back to basics. Back to basics, let's get down to brass tacks and start rolling the dice. We need some practical facts, no more theory crafting or lofty abstracts. I need a concrete solution, a foregone conclusion, back to basics. We're back to basics. We're back to basics. We're back to basics. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Greetings and welcome to Goblin Games, the Universalist TTRPG channel where the DCs are made up and the stats don't matter? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Welcome live to Elder Space. Elder Space. Hey, what's up, Kinder? Got it right this time. I'm trying to figure out why my game volume seems so loud to me. Yay, Dark Sun background. Yeah. That is Dark Sun. That is the background. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit live. See if we can't pull up the game here. And hopefully this time I don't have portals inside my eyes, but no guarantees. And I'm going to bring my mic a little bit closer because I noticed on the VOD last time the game sounds were pretty loud and they drowned me out because I have a very monotone voice. Alright, well, if it gets obnoxious, let me know. I'm feeling a little under the weather today, so I'm going to be drinking a little tea. I think I might be catching a cold, so there's that. All right, so today I always want to start off with like a topic. And today we're talking about the gameplay loop. The gameplay loop of a tabletop role-playing game. So let's dive into it. When you think gameplay loop for, let's just say D&D, for example, what comes to mind? Let's establish what we think a good gameplay loop is, first of all. Is it one session? Is it when you meet every Wednesday, every other Wednesday at the table? Is that the gameplay loop? Or are we considering the gameplay loop to be a complete adventure? You know, is it leaving the safety of the village, chasing after a quest, doing of the quest, and then the return to said village? Or is it just how many rooms you can get through in a single session kind of a thing, or like how many scenes play out, you know? So I think when we think of gameplay loops, these are kind of the two main things that come to mind, right? Like, you know, we can look at the broad scope of an entire campaign as a gameplay loop, But that's almost getting into completely different territory than what I'm thinking of as a natural gameplay loop. You would say from long rest to long rest. Interesting. Because that's even within a session, right? Like, when I think of a gameplay loop, it's player, GM, etc. So you're just talking about the back and forth exchange between player, GM, that sort of thing. Hey, what's up, Kiln? Kane's Kiln. Yeah, I think... So I guess what I'm thinking is almost in sort of like video game terms, what is a gameplay loop, right? Like, I'm playing Cardhunter right here. The gameplay loop to me in Cardhunter is you click somewhere on this world map here. You go on a quest. It gives you the whole spiel, the hook of what the quest is. You do 1 to 3 encounters, and then you return, hopefully you finish that quest, you get some loot, and you return to the main map. That's the full loop of Cardhunter, right? Like, since we're talking video games, I'm going to skip the obvious ones like Skyrim. Let's think like a MOBA, for instance. Like League of Legends has a gameplay loop, right? Within a single game session, you start out in this sort of grinding mode where you're clearing out minions, you're building up, you're buying items, you're leveling up a little bit, getting new skills. Then you hit this middle range of the session where you're fighting the other team, you're having these little exchanges. And then there's like late game within that gameplay loop where you're usually taking out the Baron, or you're like fighting the dragon, for instance. And then finally, you're pushing the other team's base and trying to destroy their Nexus crystal. This is getting real into the weeds on League of Legends, or you're defending your crystal from being destroyed and hopefully counterattacking and making one last final push, and then the game ends. Either with victory or defeat. But that's sort of the gameplay loop in a MOBA, right? Or whatever. What does MOBA even stand for? Multiplayer Online Battle Arena? Or maybe that's too... I don't know. Maybe that's too mix-matched of an example, right? Like, let's look at World of Warcraft, right? An MMORPG. You sign on, you're sitting in the inn somewhere where you've been resting, you look through your quest log, you pick that quest, you travel to said location, you do the quest, then you go back home to heal up, sell all your trash items, dump your gold, and form a new group. That's a whole cycle for World of Warcraft, right? So what is a good gameplay loop of a role-playing game then? Is it, you get the hook for the adventure, you travel, usually on a hex grid, or it's just sort of hand-waved if you're playing a game where they just throw you at the dungeon, or, maybe your GM has like a point crawl where there are different points along the way where you're probably going to get a random encounter, something like that, and then you are at the adventure site. You're clearing out rooms in a dungeon, or you're traveling through like a warehouse and fighting off bandits and things like that, usually to get a MacGuffin or something like that, or whatever the quest reward is. And ultimately it ends with you fighting a boss, right? Or overcoming some kind of an obstacle within this scenario. And maybe it's a social encounter. Maybe it's not even necessarily combat or anything like that. And then, if you're lucky, you have time to return back to the safety of the Bastion and spend some gold. Kind of actually a very similar loop to some of these video games. Maybe that's why I'm thinking of it in terms of a video game loop. But, hey, thanks for streaming. Honestly, this question has kind of been on my mind too. What's up, Resnet2? Yeah, so this idea of a good gameplay loop for role-playing games has kind of been cooking in the back of my mind, because like as I get older and as I play more video games, things like that, I'm very interested in whether or not I enjoy the loop of a game. I've been playing, been playing a lot of Hunt Showdown lately, which is an extraction shooter, which is like a PvPvE, which, if you don't know what that stands for, player versus environment. So in these games, you're dropped randomly into a location. There might be some looting or some gathering. You're searching for clues to ultimately find what's called a bounty, something you need to take down. And you might run into other players along the way. You might fight them, or you might just circumvent them by running around. And then, if you're lucky, you get the bounty, you grab it, and you try to extract with all the stuff you have. And try to survive is the main thing. So, I've discovered that, like, I really enjoy that gameplay loop versus, like, your standard sort of multiplayer shoot and kill kind of arena style game, right? Where your only goal is to get to a certain amount of points before the enemy does. So how does this translate and go back to role-playing games? Well, I think that there are structures in place naturally within a role-playing game because of the way story tends to unfold at the table. I think you do have that same loop of a hook into a natural quest. Usually, almost always, you're trying to get something from someone. I think I heard this said on the, what's his name, Guy, the How to Be a Great Game Master, his channel. Every story boils down to someone has something that you want, and they're keeping you from getting it. Whether that's monsters, whether that's a faction, whether that's just going into a location and finding gold. There's something you want, and there are obstacles to get that thing. So that probably is the most boiled down version of a tabletop role-playing game loop. But, so how do we take the idea of this and implement it at our tables? You know, it's at its core, it's a really simple concept, but I think there's some nuance there. There's some key components maybe, like, you know, someone was saying earlier, long rest, kinder. Is there a way to, even within a single session, take that larger gameplay loop and sort of boil it down into like a bullet point method, right? Where it's like, you know, Sly Flourish talks about upbeats and downbeats, for instance. So is there a way to say, like, maybe you do search a location, you do overcome obstacles, you do hopefully beat an enemy or overcome a larger obstacle, and you walk away with some loot. Sorry, my throat is like really killing me right now. Let me grab a swig of water. Yeah, and so that you ensure you basically what I'm trying to say is there a way to ensure that even within a given session of a game where you might not complete an entire adventure or quest, that you still have some format of that gameplay loop so that everybody walks away satisfied, if that makes sense. Like, everyone has done something that feels like you've gotten to do that loop, right? And this is like big picture. I'm way out on the hex grid map right now. And if we zoom all the way in, part of that gameplay loop is probably like using your, you know, for a player, using your character's special abilities, right? That like go on cooldown, for lack of a better term. Using those daily abilities that are going to refresh tomorrow. Getting a little bit of spotlight time to shine, maybe even role-playing in character if that's your thing. It's stuff like that. Like, how do we create I hesitate to say the word perfect. So how do we create a satisfying gameplay loop within single sessions? Something actionable that GMs can use at the table. And this is really sort of me just like workshopping this in real time. Like, I don't have the answer, you know. I have some stuff I wrote down, you know, just to get the ball rolling. But part of why I wanted to do this as like an AMA is to say, like, these are things I think would benefit the greater hobby to talk about, to have a discussion, to really dig into, like, what things ultimately make these games satisfying to play, right? Like, we have a lot of videos out there. I have a lot of videos, advice about how to do specific things, or like things to implement at your table to help things run smoothly, or, you know, ways to adjudicate things on the fly, but like, how do you look at your prep notes and go, almost like the lazy dungeon master has those steps to like prepping for a set. Is it 8 steps where you prep for your session and you ask all these questions? But like, I'm trying to think of a version of that involves like everything you need within a gameplay loop, right? So I don't know. I'm throwing these ideas out there. I'm gonna write gameplay loop in a note here, and I'm just gonna go down the line as I play this game, because I'm still gonna play a little bit of Cardhunter while I do this, and we can still talk about this stuff. But I'll probably bounce back and forth between taking notes, talking about it, and playing the game a little bit. Let's see. We have a couple messages. I've been ranting. Interesting discussion topic. I'd say our gameplay loop is usually players discuss next move, prepare, travel, dungeon delve, load up on gold, escape, and wash, rinse, repeat. Oh, cuss. Glad I'm not too late for the party. I'll keep it PG. Might be challenging to do a whole loop in a single session. Well, yeah, see, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, I think there should be sort of a way to do it that doesn't mean you have to, like, complete the adventure, so to speak, but maybe it's that idea of, like, upbeats and downbeats, right? Like, maybe there's an exploratory element. So I'm going to write these down. Okay. So you have your hook, rumor, whatever you want to call this. Maybe, this is probably... Me typing is probably terrible on this mic. I just thought about that because it's connected to the table. So just bear with me if this sounds terrible. Hook, rumor, we'll call it story, for lack of a better word. Then I think there's an exploration element, right? Explore, discover, like discovery. I should just do this on a board sometime instead of having just a cardhunter in the background. All right. I'm going to do this real quick. Let's go big screen mode. Okay. So I have hook, rumor, story, explore, discovery. Those are 2 beats. Then I think after you explore, or somewhere in the exploration, that's when your obstacles creep in, right? Obstacle, which, I think Sly Flourish would describe this as like a downbeat, right? Like something negative that happens, or like challenging that happens. So obstacle, challenge. Let's say triumph. Wow, this is like some Genesis terminology, but triumph or despair, just literally meaning either you succeeded on that obstacle and it moves the story in one direction, or you sort of fail forward on that obstacle and it moves the story in a different direction. So I'm going to say triumph / despair, and then loot or recovery, depending on how that went. And so this is what I mean by like within a single session, right? Like you can be reminded of the rumor or the story, or you can develop it immediately upon starting a session. Then you can immediately lead to like an exploring or a discovery section, whether that's social, like physical, you're physically traveling through a location, searching rooms, things like that. And then you start having your obstacles and challenges. That's number 3. And then you either succeed or you fail on those obstacles or challenges, and that leads to loot or recovery. So there's, everyone likes their 5-room dungeon. So there's a 5-point loop for a tabletop role-playing game, right? Hook, explore, obstacle, success or failure, loot or recovery. And then that, if that helps like your mindset for like going into preparing your session, right? Like you're thinking, okay, if we only have a couple of scenes tonight, or a couple of, let's call them rooms, that we can go through, do I have all these things present? And maybe it's like you're in the middle of a dungeon. You don't really need to rehash the hook or the rumor, so you just skip that step and you start exploring. Unless, maybe that moves, because you started exploring, it moves the hook till after you loot or recover, your usually your fifth step, now you discover something that adds to that hook or rumor or story, I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas. All right, I'm going to... I interrupted myself when I read your comment there. Okay, let's see. Challenging to do in a single session. I find some of my groups can take a whole session for one aspect of the loop. Maybe I should time them. Actually, since Kane's Kiln is in the chat, he has an excellent video about kind of like timing the different parts of an adventure and getting a feel for like how long combat generally takes your table, or like how long exploration might take, or different pillars of the game, things like that, or how long a social scene might take. It's not a bad idea. Perhaps it goes sort of location based almost. Urban and wilderness is a journey. Wilderness into the dungeon, into the belly of the beast. The dungeon to urban sanctuary. I like that. That kind of like boils it down into 3 steps. And then Kinder says, set a goal for the night, make moves towards goal, reward from goal, repeat. Yeah, that's a good sort of way to like really distill the loop down in just a couple of words, right? Like, I don't have anywhere to write this, do I? That I can put on screen. I'm bouncing all over the place tonight. Bear with me. I'm not really like a live streamer, TBH. But, alright, so we have this here. Let me actually just pull up a chat. This is a world chat. Oh, it won't let me copy paste. Okay, well, next time I will have some kind of whatever, some kind of notepad I can use. I don't want to set it up right now. ResNet 2, and I think one thing that helps me for sessions is asking a question and the whole session tries to answer. Then for cliffhanger, you ask another towards the end. It's like an impending doom, aka will. AKA will happen even if the players don't do anything. For example, will the kobolds capture the princess? The whole session is sort of based on that, and I tie it to each character for a motive. Hey Taka, what's up? Sorry, I was rambling. Oh, it's almost 1 there. Well, get some sleep. Good to hear from you. Hello from Taiwan. Wow, what's up? Shinson Shui. I probably butchered that, so sorry, but hey, good to have you. Yeah, I don't know. I thought this would be an interesting exercise and something to think about as I now dive into the game, right? If you watched last time, we killed a couple of kobolds. I think we did these 2 adventures. Troglodytes. I just read kobolds, so it's on my mind. So let's look at the gameplay loop as we enter the Wizard's Workshop. So we leave the tavern, quite literally just travel to the location. In this case, it's a game, so there's not going to be any random encounters on the way. Nothing like that. And then we have Gary here. A wizard seeks you out with an unusual offer of employment. Liberate his home from his crazed magical constructs. So there we have our hook, delivered to us via the narrator, aka the GM of the game. And then we're looking at the module, because this is how they do it in this game. The wizard Eloizo has asked you for help. It seems his recent mechanical creations have gone haywire, attacking anyone who steps foot inside his tower. He offers to reward you if you will rid his home of the out-of-control golems and ornithopters. Will you climb the forbidden stairs to the wizard's workshop? And see, someone made this point earlier. I guess it was, ResNet. One of the things that's really cool about like a D&D style adventure is it usually is asking you a question, right? Can you climb the forbidden stairs through the wizard's workshop? Can you make it through this labyrinth of hazards to try and stop these creations that have gone haywire? And what's beautiful about like role-playing games is that's a very open-ended question, right? You might have 5 different games play the same module and answer that question in sort of 5 different ways. Like no 2 parties, well, depending on how the adventure is written, no two parties should answer the question the exact same way. There's going to be a story in between leaving the bastion and finding the answer to this particular module. All right, I'm going to play a little bit of the game. I'm talking a lot. I've been yapping for 15 minutes now. Oh, and then we have Melvin. This adventure will teach you the importance of armor. Pay attention, and you may just learn something. Okay, battle. How is the volume of him saying encounter and stuff over me? Is it too loud? Tim Posnick, howdy. What's going on? If you want to hear my ramble, I just talked for 15 minutes about game loops before I started this. Metallic monstrosities bar your way. They are out of control and no longer serve their master. Yeah, I don't know. It's just even within a combat, right? You can have upbeats and downbeats, or you can have a gameplay loop, right? You have the start of a fight where everyone is topped off in all their abilities and all their health, things like that. And then, you have the struggle in the middle where maybe you're on the losing side for a while, and then your cleric heals everyone back to full health, and you regroup sort of, and you try a different strategy, and you start flanking. And by the end, I don't hear the game at all. Okay. The Swords and Stones just logged. Oh, okay. What's up, Swords and Stones? I didn't know that was your name. The game doesn't make a lot of noise. I'm going to turn it up just a hair so that you should hear Gary going, encounter, and then you'll hear me hitting stuff and it'll go, ooh, pff, pff. I'll put it at about 20. We'll see if you guys can hear that. The sounds in this game aren't very important to what's going on. So, all right, let's see. What do I want to do here? Speaking of choices, it's always good to have choices within an adventure loop, right? That's another part I didn't really get into. If everything is, go down the hall, go to that first room, get the key, go down the rest of the hall, use the first key on the second door. There's no choices involved there. You're just following a linear path. Resonant. One thing, though, I always felt I can't complete a loop in one session. Is there a better way to plan this? LOL. So do you mean, literally trying to do a one-shot, for instance? You can't finish an adventure? Or the more loose concept we've described of a loop where it's you have an upbeat, a downbeat, discovery, and a reward kind of a thing? Because those are two different things. It can be really difficult, depending on your time frame. Sometimes people only have 2 or 3 hours instead of 4. So, completing an entire one-shot adventure, you really have to stay on top of pacing. I'm actually terrible at this. I don't do a lot of cons, and I don't run a lot of organized games because I tend to, leave a lot of breathing room for players to role play and act and talk and discuss. I don't really like the idea of being all right, we got to get through this adventure tonight. This is our one night to complete everything. So I tend to not think of the gameplay loop as, I don't know, just the session, but maybe that's wrong. Maybe I should start thinking of it as just one session. Loop. Okay, so making them run in circles in the middle of an orc-infested forest. No, I plan a dungeon run, start in a tavern, go through wilderness, and come back. Yeah, one of the reasons this has been on my mind a lot is because we did a test run game for the Shadow Dark West Marches that we're going to be running pretty soonish here, and I wanted to see, depending on how involved the hex crawl aspect is, or the traveling to the quests, how much can you realistically get done in one night of 2-ish hour play? Really I'd love to shoot for 3-hour play, but that's stretching it for a lot of people who are, working and have busy lives and kids and things like that. So I wanted to see how much can you get done, and I sort of wrote rules as well with the idea in mind that, like, it's fine if you can't finish a dungeon. What will happen is, like, so essentially everyone heads back to Bastion, which is the safe city, at the end of the session, no matter what. No one, like, sort of ends the session in the dungeon, because the idea is that in a West Marches game, it's sort of a living world, right? And, like, there are pug groups, they're throw together groups, so you might not even have the same players next time. So the idea is that, like, everyone went back to town. Next time you play, whether it's the same people or not, they go back to that dungeon. Maybe some of it's cleared out. Maybe you roll on a table and some new inhabitants have filled certain sections of the dungeon. But no one is just sitting around, camping, resting, waiting, that sort of thing. No matter what, everyone goes back to town at the end of the session. So it's sort of a forced gameplay loop, if that makes sense. Yeah, and that really got my mind turning on, like, what is that satisfying? Is there a satisfying way to do travel? And maybe it's just that next time, since you've located the dungeon on the hex map, you sort of skip the travel portion and you're right back at the dungeon. We're starting things off with a bang. We hit the ground running. We keep crawling through that dungeon, that sort of thing. Okay, I'm rambling again. Yeah, I don't know. And, you know, your mileage may vary on whether or not that's satisfying for you. All right, I'm gonna play the game for a bit. I've been talking nonstop. Gary is moving. The golems have moved up. We have a 10 golem, two 10 golems with 15 health. This is Snick and Snin. And then we have Bjornir Crags. I jumbled my name up, Jorben, to Bjornir, because I changed to a lady elf, or lady human. And then we've got Trogrog, the dwarf wizard, and Nyruna, the elf priest. Okay, in this game, any action you do swaps priority between, you know, the GM and your party. So, unless you have a cantrip. One of the reasons I really like playing this game is it actually gives me ideas for combat, like interesting obstacles. Now, this is sort of a tank and spank module where you're just fighting these armored guys head on. There's no real nuance to this. It's just don't die. What is this? Discard all cards attached to target. Ooh, wouldn't that be good? So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to try to spark one. His armor completely soaks that up. But he passed. Okay. I really didn't want to move in, because, yeah, he's going to hit me. But if I can hit him with this, discard all cards attached to target. Okay. Oh, he doesn't have any attached. I'm dumb. I thought that was something else. When this card does damage, increase damage by 4. If they don't have a form card, but hey, I get 4 damage in. Go on a shuffle. Go on a walk up. Oh, just can't do that one. Alright, well, this guy's going to go here. I'm just going to go ahead and pop this because I'm going to have to discard down to 2 anyway and end the round. Well, hey, chime in if you have any thoughts about gameplay loops. I want this to be a conversation, you know. Do you guys have any thoughts about... Oh, wait. I don't want to do that. I'm going to run, because I'm the wizard. And that would hurt very much. Okay, let's do a simple bash. Push him away. And then a bludgeon. Man. Nothing. And I failed mine. Okay. So let's telekinesis me over here. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Go here. Hopefully push this guy back with a bash. And deal some damage? Yeah. And then try to zap. Well, okay. 1 damage gets through. I said this in the last one of these live streams, but I really wish this was a VTT, right? Like, just like the the angle, if you could customize these maps just a little bit, like, click and drag and place bricks, and then click and drag and place tile, stone, things like that, put a couple of obstacles, it would be a really interesting tabletop that I think would actually make me feel more immersed than a lot of the virtual tabletops do, because they either try to be like so computerized where like, it's basically just a drawing board with like, and you can throw images into it, or they try to be like, D&D's going for the big 3D tabletop, which I don't know why, but I have no interest in a 3D tabletop whatsoever. I know that I'm literally looking at a 3D tabletop, but to me, this is like, the application of it is different. It's not computer graphics in the sense that like these look like cardboard cutouts on a board, and there's even like a table I can look at around here that has, like a deck of cards, some dice. Like if I could grab these and just roll them with my mouse, and then they'd appear like on that Gollum moods table would be like what my roll did. And then I would feel like more like I'm there at a table rather than how a lot of the virtual tabletops are doing it. But anyways, that's a rant I went on last time, but I really like the style of this game. Okay, gotta roll. Just thought I'd say hi. Ciao, eh? Hey, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Swords and stones. Okay. I am going to... What's my move here? I think my dwarf needs to get away. Okay. Oof. 9 health out of 16. So, let's try to finish this dude off and go for a stab. Wow, 3 armor? I need something that melts armor. This is rough. Okay, well. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna heal my warrior here because she's hurt. Then I'm going to dash over here. Ugh, I need to get this guy out of here, but he's gonna be like surrounded. I'm just gonna get in between the two of them. Alright, delete. I can't believe this game is free. Yeah, it's a free game. Like, there's quite a few adventures and things you can play before you ever have to spend any money. Actually, a really good chunk of them. And then, if you really want to get into it, the best part is, not only is it free, but it's, up to a party of 3 players. So you and your friends can grab this on a game night where, like, D&D gets canceled or whatever. And you're like, man, I really wanted to play, roll some dice, fight some goblins, whatever. Just jump in a game of Cardhunter together, If you got 2 or 3 of you, play a couple of these little modules, have some laughs, drink a beer, whatever, have a good time. And if you really love it and you get into it, I think it's like $20 to buy like the expansion that opens up a ton more modules to play. And then, it's a one-time cost. You don't have to do any monthly subscription stuff like that. There's skins to the game, but like, who cares? It's these little cardboard cutouts. I think you get one for free too whenever you buy, or like one for each class when you buy the game proper. And also $20 is not bad for as much content as in this game. Like, I could play this for a year and I probably... Oh, wait, can I hit both of them? Well, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Cone. Nothing, but do they get burnt still? Maybe, we'll see. I heal my guy. He's gonna get hit. Hey, but he soaked it all up with armor. Or she soaked it all up. Alright. Walk out of there, dwarf. You don't need to be in this fight. I'm gonna end round. Get rid of everything except... I guess I'll keep the hardy mail. And then, yeah, now I've got nothing but armor sitting in my pocket. Oh, hardy mail failed me. Okay, this is cool. I just got this. This is one of my trait cards for my wizard. Trait. Attach this card to yourself for 3 turns, duration 3. Add 2 damage to electrical attacks. Subtract 3 from block rolls against arcane cards you play keep. So this happens immediately and doesn't count as my turn because it's a trait. And now my little attacks here are harder to block. Oh. This guy's rolling rocks anyway. Oh, that's a short range one. Alright, well if I get here... Oh no. See if I can zap him and kill him real quick. Nope. Not at all. Man, where are all my attacks? I drew like no attacks this round. Okay. That's a turn. Doop, 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 doop. Discard down to 2. Sorry, this was not a very exciting fight. Clumsy. Alright, let's see if I can just kill this dude. No, you're not. That's the... Here we go. Able bludgeon. 5. That's pretty good. I think that noise means I got a sub. So, thank you, whoever you are. Doesn't alert me on here, unfortunately, so I can't see it. But appreciate it. Okay. And last but not least, let the cleric win. Nope. Oh, it did. It went through. Victory! And we end the play loop cycle for this mini encounter, right? Yeah. Alright. I've ordered some Papa Manchu pizza. Manchu? It should be here soon. Okay, collect loot. You open a chest. You get some rewards for killing the haywire golems. I'll actually get all these because I'm subbed or whatever right now. Cool. Pizza, 1 large with tofu and pineapple. With extra tofu, right? Of course. Couldn't forget that order. You're welcome then. I mean, sorry, thanks. Okay, cool. This is super dorky. A little on the nose, but whatever. The second floor of Alonzo's tower is a kitchen. 2 more 10 golems defend this area, this time accompanied by a pair of ornithopters. You shudder at the madness of it. Living machines! What was Aloizo doing? I'm going to try to modify my party real quick before we get into this, because here's the thing. Those guys had a lot of armor, and I don't have anything to do with armor. Do I? Let's see. This isn't going to have attacks. This probably won't. Man, that's unfortunate. Did I just accidentally send a heart to my own stream? Whoops. Clicked it with my mouse. Well, memory loss. That might work. Target discards their oldest card. Actually, that'd probably be pretty good. What do I get rid of here, though? Probably the burning fingers. That fire's doing nothing against these guys because it's small incremental damage over time, and their armor's just soaking it all up. Okay. And then we have a boot, which isn't going to help. Okay, last but not least, let's see if the cleric... Wait, do I have orbs now? Right, no, not enough power tokens. Whatever these are. Minor power token. Major power token. Okay. Ooh, probably wouldn't hurt to have like a true strike. Penetrating unblockable. Or righteous frenzy. I'll put this on. Because that will boost somebody's attacks. Oh, actually, that's pretty good. I'm going to put that on. Okay. That's enough tinkering. Time to battle. Well, thanks for showing up, everybody that did. Thanks for asking questions. If there aren't any more questions, I'll just keep playing for a bit until we beat this little encounter. But, you know, I'm going to probably be doing this like I want to say every Thursday, if not every other Thursday. Same time, same bat time, same bat channel, 7:30 EST. And I might eventually play some other games. I just felt like this game in particular, it's easy to like stop and pull away and like chat if, you know, if we get into a subject that's really interesting, if we want to dig into it, I don't have to like focus too hard on the game. I can pull away, and also like, you know, it's very D&D inspired, D&D adjacent. So it keeps me kind of like in the mindset for these conversations, and I can very naturally like flow into a conversation about having obstacles on a map during a combat and things like that, other than obstacles other than the enemies, you know. So yeah, I don't know. I really like this game. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and we can chat about different tabletop topics. Thursday, Tabletop Topic Tavern. Table Talk Topic Tavern. Wow, that's a mouthful. The crude flying machines are ungracious hosts and do not welcome you here. I'd have it no other way. Okay, we have a Purging Strike. Discard all cards attached to target. We have a Frenzy. What's Frenzy? Who do we frenzy? Do we frenzy the warrior or the mage? Frenzy 2, duration 1. I think we frenzy the warrior because the warrior has 2 slightly stronger hitting attacks. And then we walk away. Then I think the warrior goes for this guy. Alright, we hit a Purging Strike with Righteous Frenzy on it for 5. Oh. Okay, let me get my cleric out of here before my cleric takes a beating. Have I already trapped myself? Is this bad? I'm just going to move here. Okay, Gary passes. We go for a pin stab with Righteous Fury. Ooh, target discards their oldest armor card. Buzzer tears the armor away from Yonir Krags. That's not good. Well, at least she used it before she lost it. Oh, I can almost finish this guy off if it gets through. 1. That's unfortunate. I'm gonna end the round. Have you played Celasta Crown of the Magister? It kind of has the basic TTRPG gameplay loop. I have not. Is that a video game? Or is it a tabletop role-playing game? Celasta Crown of the Magister. That sounds like a video game title for some reason to me. What is your dice rolling method? One-handed, two-handed, right or left, etc.? Usually just one-handed. I'm a righty, so you know, just kind of roll and drop. Sometimes I use a little tower I have that like I keep all my dice in, and I open it up and I just drop it down the tower and let the dice gods decide. I also prefer to roll in the open. It's very seldom I have any reason to hide my rolls. I prefer to remain a neutral arbiter of whatever game I'm playing, and for the players to see that I'm being as fair and balanced as I can be. That's just a personal preference of mine. I like them to know that, especially if it's a game that's already kind of brutal, right? Like, it can feel like you're, I don't know, intentionally being mean or whatever, or overbearing to the players. So I just always roll in the open so they know, hey, look, I rolled 3 20s in a row. You saw it. That's just how the dice fell. It's, you know, that kind of thing. But yes, it's a video game. I have not played it. I've not even heard of it. But that sounds right up my alley. I always like to find games that scratch the itch of playing TTRPGs when I don't have one kind of regularly going. Man, I've got a Righteous Fury, but I only have, you know, 1 attack right now. This is what I'm going to do. Actually, let's put that away. Let's see if we can't finish this dude off before he attacks. Then Righteous Fury our warrior, who has a strong attack. Then I'm going to move all the way over here and gain 2 health. Oh boy. Mage is in danger. Move. Move away, mage. Alright, but now I need to move in on this dude. I'm gonna get bludgeoned. Ouch, that really hurt. Let's heal. No, he moved. I'm going to stand on a barrel. Oh, no. Did that hit all of my guys? Just those two. Alright. Dashing away. Well, that's it. I'll waste my righteous fury, but that sucks. I always roll in the open. This is the way. I know we've all, over the years, gotten into our screens, and we want the story. I've heard people say, you know, I don't know, the dice doesn't always tell a good story, right? But it also depends on the kind of game you're playing. Like, if you're playing DCC, a Dungeon Crawl Classics is a very random game. I mean, that book is chock full of random tables, including literally every spell is a random table, right? You have crit fumble tables, you have crit success tables, you know. I don't know, in my opinion, you just should be rolling in the open in a game like DCC. I don't really see it any other way, you know. And it's such a chaotic game that, you know, yeah, you might lose some player characters, but it's kind of intended, right? It's kind of a brutal game at times, especially lower levels. My players keep joking about how my dice will decide that we're done playing a game because they'll do a TPK out of nowhere. Yeah, it's funny. I swear I only roll hot when I'm a game master, and I roll terribly as a player. It's like, it always just happens that way. I don't know why that is, but it's unfortunate for my players. Spellforce 3 is also kind of cool in my opinion. It has a cool setting, and is free, by the way, but the RPG loop is kind of location-based with encounters sort of spread across the map. Well, that's very similar to how this game is. That's the only thing that's really missing is, like, if there were, like, oh, man, there's a game. It's kind of like Slay the Spire. It's in my Steam library. I can't think of the name right now. But anyways, I like that as you're traveling on this sort of point crawl across the board, there will be locations that aren't combat encounters. There'll be like a choice encounter where it's like, you know, do you help the people or cower and run away? And it's like one is risky and one's usually safe, or like one's unknown or one's a trap, that kind of a thing. And I really like that it adds that RPG element. And then you have skills like charisma and stuff that you can roll. So it keeps you kind of like in the RPG mindset even while you're playing this kind of combat-centric video game. Alright. I'm talking. I'm gonna go smack this guy. Able, bludgeon, can't block. Ooh, that buzzsaw hurts. I'm gonna... Oh, no. No, I don't want to do this. I would like to walk onto this barrel. Please survive. What are you at? 7. Alright, does this slide back? Yeah, let's get this one out of here. Get out of here. And then try to hit this. Oh, that's not good. Oh, I blocked it. Good. Actually, I'm going to teleport my own guy. Oh, yeah, that kind of worked. And in the round. Getting rid of my 2 dashes. Gloomhaven does that. The video game or the board game? Because I know that there's a video game version of Gloomhaven now. I like Gloomhaven. I used to play it kind of in between D&D stuff. I'm going to get my dwarf out of here before he gets clobbered. And also going to move the cleric. Okay, you need a heal before anything else happens. Yeah. Oof. Alright, well, can we get rid of this guy? Stabby. And spark. Cool. Now we just got some ornithopters to deal with. Wait, I can't see him? No! Alright, well, I'll just go do this one. We'll end the round. The video game is basically just a digital version of the board game. Yeah, I've not played the the video game, but I guess I played enough of the board game. Maybe we underplayed. One of my friends was trying out Gloomhaven, and he's never GM'd or DM'd or, he'd played in like one tabletop role-playing game with me at that point, I think. And he might have kind of glazed over some of the in-between stuff or the choices or whatever. Or maybe just like read them straight up and then we just said something. We didn't get it as into the role-playing. But yeah, that's cool that it's present in the video game version as well, because I really like that stuff. It kind of, takes something that's basically a board game and injects a little bit more of the role-playing element, which I enjoy. That's why I enjoy role-playing games so much. Big surprise there, I know. Okay, so I'm going to bash this guy with fire. And now this guy's on fire. Then I'm going to pin cut. Oh, come on now. And I'm going to run away and hope that I live. Alright, I got to finish this one off. So I'm going to do both of these slide? Bludgeon first. Simple bash second. Okay, let's see if I can finish this encounter. Hey, victory! Onward. The fight destroys the kitchen and much of its contents. You hope that all of this is worth it to the errant wizard. You can now climb to the last level of the tower and secure it from its artificially animated assailants. Oh no, I'm still holding the tip. She must think I'm a real jerk. Uh-oh. We'll have to see if Gary's righteous redemption arc happens later in this story. His gameplay loop, if you will. Hey, man, nice to see you streaming. What mic are you using? I'm in the market to upgrade my audio a bit. This is my computer mic. It is a Maono, M-A-O-N-O, D20, ironically. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, D20. So that should be easy to remember, right? There's one of those in the games that we play. But yeah, what's up, Paladin Pros? Good to have you here on the stream. I'm trying to decide if I want to do these more regularly and talk like pitch a tabletop topic. Wow, that was a tongue twister. To have like going while I play a game that's slightly D&D reminiscent. And today's topic was gameplay loops. Gameplay loops within tabletop role-playing games. But I think I'm about to wrap up here as soon as I finish the workshop apex encounter. At the tower's apex is Aloizo's master laboratory. The walls are lined with shelves of herbs, unguents, and potions. This room is guarded by an enormous bronze golem. This mechanical monstrosity represents a threat to magic, living creatures, and the cardhunter way of life. It must be smashed to pieces. Battle. Ha, awesome. Chillin', broski, having some coffee this morning here. Oh man, morning, where do you live? It is going on 8:30 here, getting close to my bedtime. I am in western North Carolina, as most people probably know at this point. Bzz, clank, whir. A heavily armored bronze golem clanks into action. That's Gary. He's the game master. Alright, so we have a bronze golem with 22 health who probably packs a punch. I'm just going to go straight in here with my fighter. Go for a pin cut. Actually, let's do this. Memory loss. Target discards their oldest card. They might have an armor. Whoa, flailing bronze fist. Choose up to 2 different targets for this attack. Luckily, I parried it. Okay. Now we righteous frenzy the fighter to give him 2 extra damage on her attacks. Pin stab for 5 damage, and just a spear stab for another 5. How close do I have to be? Oh no, that's a pillar. That was a dumb move. I can't see him from here. Still can't see him. Oh well. Gonna run in with the cleric for a quick bash. Ooh. Now I can see you. Little zap. In round. I live in Tokyo, but from Philly. Wow, that is quite the transplant. If you don't mind sharing, how'd you end up in Tokyo? That's awesome. I've always wanted to visit Tokyo. I have not made it to that side of the pond, but Philly to Tokyo. Wow. Doubt you're doing this because of where you live, but I'm planning on attending PageCon in January, which is in Philly. So if you're there for some reason, maybe I'll run into you. So that's cool, though. Wow. That is quite the time difference. Yeah, I was actually wondering because I saw one of your videos where there was kind of like some industrial stuff going on in the background. And in my mind, I was kind of trying to like place it. And I was like, that doesn't look like anywhere in the States to me. Not that I've been everywhere in the States, but... Oh, man, I'm going to be at PAX, but not PageCon. Well, that makes sense. I mean, if you're going to fly, all the way to the States for a con, PAX is probably the one to do it. Although I hear Page is, like, going to be pretty big this year, actually. All right, I'm going to Righteous Fury the Wizard, because he has 2 attacks this time around. And if I can get this one through, then this encounter... Nope. Okay. Walk away, dwarf. You are slow, so you have to walk. Okay, last attack. Maybe I'll get 1 damage through with my bludgeon, and we can call it a night here. No, not even 1 damage? That's unfortunate. Alright, pulse heal. Heal the party. In the round. TLDR. I went to Temple University in Tokyo, got a job, and suddenly I've been here ever since. That's cool. What do you do if you don't mind me asking? I'm asking a lot of personal questions on a live stream. Don't worry, nobody watches these, so your secret's safe with me and the 10 people who watch it. Alright. I think... No. Alright, let's see. Can I burn this guy for the win? Yes. Through 3 armors. Adventure complete. And we have ended the gameplay loop for the evening. Victory. Aftermath. The final battle destroys the laboratory completely. Both Aloizo, the wizard, and the local authorities are grateful for the player's successful efforts. That's interesting. They talk about the player directly. With a sigh, Aloizo swears a solemn oath never to dabble in the dark arts of technology again. He rewards you with what he can salvage from his ruined lab and pledges to assist you in the future adventures wherever he can. Boom! With your final blow, the golem explodes into a shower of cogs and gears. Let's get our loot and get out of here. Hey, do we level up? Yay! More health and a new item slot to add cards to our deck. Let's see. I have another one of these, so let's just do more of these. That sounds good. Wizard got nothing. And fighter got nothing. Okay, open chest. Gold, armor. Oh, red lacquered box. 2 mazes and a force bolt. And then we have Adept's healing mail. 2 mails and a heal. That's pretty good. Alright, so we sell our, treasure, the nice tooth, the shiny earring, and take the rest. My cat is very angry in the background. Haha, it's cool. I work in international marketing. Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's probably in higher demand than what I'm doing right now, which is I'm doing deliveries and stuff in my day job, when I'm not doing this. All right. Now we are back to the map again, which means we have completely done the gameplay loop of Cardhunter. The only thing left to do is check the shops. I'm low level, so I'm going to check the level 1 shop. See if I can find any cool items here. Because we made some gold off of that adventure. I can go for like a bash kind of build. And go for a pin cut build with a sword. A chop build with an axe where you can hit multiple targets. Some of these are terrible and they have bad traits attached to them. I don't want to buy any of those. Backstabbing strike's not the worst, but lunging thrust is actually really good. It's a step and an attack, so you get, almost like the 5-foot step in Pathfinder. I really like those. Ooh, that's a really good one. That's only 5. I already have one of those, don't I? Well, why not 2? Let's go all in on this flaring torch and purging strike combo. I like those. I've got a pretty good shield here, but let's see if there's anything better. What is empty palm? Block any. Unless you are in victory terrain, draw a card, and it's 4 or better, so there's only like a, 33% chance of that working. At the start of each round, take 5 points of unholy. No, don't like that at all. If I remember, hit the dex pretty good. Block any attached to self and halt, duration 1. So you can't move because you literally drop prone. This is a cool game, by the way. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's free. It's multiplayer. You can play with up to 2 other friends. You can even do PvP on it. There's like an arena mode if you want to build decks and fight other people. And, it's got the grid element to it like D&D, so it's really fun and strategic. Just pay attention to what level you are if you do the PvP, and make sure you use all of your little power gems, whatever these things are called. I'm not crazy about this one. 2 kind of weak attacks, and I didn't like Spark Generator as much as I thought I would. Traveler. Dimensional Traveler could be really good for a dwarf who only can walk and never runs other than my boots. My 1 run. I think, in fact, for 5 gold pieces, that is worth it. Traveler is really good. Attached to yourself, duration 3. At the start of each round, you move 1 teleport, which means you can move over a wall or a gap or anything like that. Alright, let's see. We have rare arcane items. This one's okay. This one's okay. See if there's anything really good here. Boo. Target discards their always attack card. If you're behind the target, create a panic card. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I've never seen that one. Slide 2. It's not bad. What is this? I guess the little exclamation point means I've never seen them before. But this is a new account. I wanted to not cheat and use any of my old stuff so you guys could see the real gameplay loop of it. You know what? I really liked that. Oh, prestidigitation. Oh, do nothing. No, I don't want that. I like this. I'm going to grab one of these and replace... It's just a better memory loss, right? Actually, memory loss is pretty good. I'll do that. See if there's a better staff. This staff is kind of trash. TBH. What is unstable? Whenever you play a move card, take 4 arcane. Ugh. That's terrible. So we want green, at least green or better. It's got the classic sort of MMO style item rarity kind of thing going on. Sorcerer's Bolt. 4 at a range of 6. 3 at a range of 4. That's pretty good, actually. Let's go with that. I think that's the best one on the market right now. 25, though. Oof. It's pricey. Last but not least, our Paladin. Or Cleric, rather. None of these are piquing my interest. I do like the Entangling Roots. Misguided Heal's not bad. Avenging Touch is really good. Demonic Feedback. Target draws a card. You take 4 unpreventable unholy damage. That's not crazy about that. Ooh, that's pretty good. For 5, why not? I like Healing Pulses too. Those are really good, but okay. I think that's it for tonight. You get the idea of what this game is about, what it's like. Thanks for tuning in, especially if you got involved in the initial conversation about gameplay loops. Kind of went on a ramble there, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully there was something in there that got your gears turning, your mind thinking about, the setup of our tabletop role-playing games in ways that we can think about like satisfying loops and even within a single session or within an overarching adventure, you know. So I'm going to call it there, folks. It's getting late here, and I'm getting tired. I woke up early with my kid today. So I will say the usual: make mistakes. Wait, I got it wrong. Yeah, no, make mistakes, choose chaos, and most importantly, have fun. Okay, bye.